Alright, let's dive into this story that's been making waves lately. Pauline Hanson, the Queensland senator, and her recent European trip. But this isn't just any trip, it's a tale of luxury hotels, vacant rooms, and a whole lot of questions about funding. Here's the deal. Hanson reportedly used party funds to book a $900 a night room at the Conrad London St. James. And get this, she left it empty for 5 nights, while she jetted off to Italy with mining billionaire Gina Rinehart. Personally, I think this raises a ton of red flags, not just about how the money was spent, but about the optics of it all. What many people don't realize is that One Nation's Fire the Liar campaign raised nearly $5 million from everyday Australians, with the average donation being just $73. So, when you see that money being used for a 5-star hotel while the donor is nowhere in sight, it's hard not to wonder, who's this really benefiting? What makes this really interesting is the contrast between the campaign's messaging and Hanson's actions. The Fire the Liar campaign was all about grassroots support, about taking on the establishment with the help of ordinary Aussies. But if you take a step back and think about it, staying in a luxury hotel and leaving it vacant while you're off to Italy with a billionaire doesn't exactly scream everyday Australian. In my opinion, this isn't just a story about expenses, it's about trust. When you're asking people to donate their hard-earned money, there's an expectation that it's going toward the cause, not toward lavish travel. Now, let's talk about the funding itself. Hanson insists that the Fire the Liar money wasn't used for the trip, and her aide, James Ashby, claims it's all in a term deposit fund. But here's the thing, even if that's true, the fact that party funds were used for this kind of travel is still a problem. One thing that immediately stands out is the lack of transparency. If Hanson paid for the trip herself, why not just say so? And if the party paid, why the need to be evasive about it? This raises a deeper question: what else aren't we being told? A detail I find fascinating is Hanson's insistence that taxpayers didn't pay 1 cent for the trip. While that might be technically true, it feels like a distraction. The real issue here isn't taxpayer money, it's the money donated by supporters who thought they were funding a political campaign, not a luxury European vacation. What this really suggests is a disconnect between how One Nation presents itself and how it operates behind the scenes. And let's not forget the timing of all this. Hanson's trip comes at a time when One Nation's finances are already under scrutiny. There are concerns about centralized structures, unexplained money movements, and now this. From my perspective, this isn't just a PR misstep, it's a symptom of a bigger problem. When you're relying on small donations from thousands of people, you have a responsibility to be transparent about how that money is spent. What's also worth noting is Hanson's response to the criticism. She's accused the media of biased reporting and even banned certain outlets from her press conferences. Personally, I think this is a classic deflection tactic. Instead of addressing the concerns, she's attacking the messengers. But if you take a step back and think about it, this kind of reaction only adds to the perception that there's something to hide. So, where does this leave us? In my opinion, this story isn't just about a senator's travel expenses, it's about accountability, transparency, and the trust between politicians and their supporters. What many people don't realize is that stories like this can have a ripple effect. They erode trust, not just in Hanson or One Nation, but in the political system as a whole. And that's something we should all be concerned about. As we wrap up, I'll leave you with this thought: politics is as much about perception as it is about policy. When you're asking people to support you, you're not just asking for their money, you're asking for their trust. And once that trust is broken, it's incredibly hard to rebuild. So, the next time you hear about a fundraising campaign, ask yourself, where is this money really going? And more importantly, who is it really benefiting? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think about all this.